What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Ango Show. A lot of stuff to discuss. Obviously, this past weekend was a big one for WWE Smackdown. And one thing that was brought up, and I keep getting asked about this over the weekend, what is going on with Rey Fenix? What is going on with Aleister Black? As you guys saw on Smackdown, there was vignettes. One for Rey Fenix, which I think it was relatively clear that was for Rey Fenix. The other thing that got brought up was who was the for vignette, which there is a lot of history with Aleister Black vignettes on WWE television. I think it is very clear that Aleister Black is going to SmackDown, as I originally talked about several months ago. Now, with that being said, obviously one thing that needs to be talked about here is why WWE is keeping Rey Fenix away from Penta on SmackDown, right? So Penta's on Raw, Fenix is on SmackDown. A lot of people are asking me, why are they being kept separated, despite the fact that many people are coming out and saying that they're going to be a tag team. There is definitely a chance that you will see them tag team for sure. But if you look at WWE SmackDown and what is currently missing on SmackDown, and you currently look at the success of Penta on Raw, this actually makes a lot of sense for WWE. This makes a lot of sense for WWE because SmackDown needs help in the mid-card. And yes, it is a little bit more improved as of late, but it doesn't change the fact that it's not as exciting as Raw. When you watch WWE Raw, you see Braun Breaker going out there and creating programs with several guys who are all capable of being world champions one day. And that's one of the things that you don't really see on SmackDown. So Braun Breaker is building up programs. Braun Breaker is having great matches with guys. Other guys are having great matches with other guys in hopes of getting to Braun Breaker. There's like a really good ecosystem on Raw, and the same thing isn't necessarily apples to apples with SmackDown. So I do believe that you will see the Lucha Brothers together at some point. I think it's even possible that you see them at WrestleMania, as I've stated on the live shows. However, I do think Rey Fenix being aired on SmackDown, that vignette being aired on SmackDown, is really a big piece of WWE trying to say, hey, we are going to elevate our mid-card. So not only do you get great matches with Carmelo Hayes and Rey Fenix, but then you got Rey Fenix and Aleister Black. You also get Rey Fenix and Andrade, Apollo Crews when he comes back. Obviously, you got to pay attention to what they're doing with LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura, because that is obviously still a possibility. But I do think they are going to be elevating the United States Championship picture, and that's why Rey Fenix is moving to SmackDown. Also, I think for Aleister Black, as I've mentioned before, Zelina Vega is going to be SmackDown permanently. Obviously, you don't separate couples, and we saw Zelina move to SmackDown because of the transfer portal. And then also with Aleister Black going to SmackDown, it's the same thing as Rey Fenix. He's essentially going to elevate that mid-card, and then there's that opportunity for more growth. A huge WWE announcement was made with GCW. This is really cool. WWE ID has finally announced some details about their upcoming ID tournament. They are trying to crown the first ever women's ID champion and then the men's ID champion. Basically, WWE announced on Monday that the first round matches will take place under the GCW banner as well as the FSW banner. This will be going on April 16th and April 18th, which is WrestleMania weekend. So it is taking place in Las Vegas, and this is really huge, man. The announcement is pretty sweet. Shawn Legacy, Zeta Steele, Ice Williams, Jackson Drake, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, Zara Zakher, Cappuccino Jones, and many others are part of this tournament. And obviously with WWE having their ID tournament taking place on GCW's The Collective or FSW's Full Tilt 3. It's pretty huge, man. This is great for indies, in my opinion. Obviously, WWE WrestleMania weekend is a huge deal. I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to WrestleMania weekend. And I think one of the big things that a lot of people don't realize is, like, when they say WWE ID is hurting the indies, this is WrestleMania weekend. WWE is promoting it. WWE and GCW are promoting it. At the end of the day, it's a really cool thing for indie wrestling to see WWE involved. I think I have a very different take from most people, but an announcement like this is huge because WWE now, in turn, when they do WrestleMania weekend, when they talk about WrestleMania weekend, when they show footage from WrestleMania weekend, they are now actively able to promote GCW and FSW, which I can't recall a time where we've seen AEW do that. And this is not a WWE versus AEW thing, but AEW talent have been able to work for GCW, and we've seen that. But like, you never really see AEW promote that, right? So for WWE, there is that opportunity where you can expand on these partnerships and these relationships, and then you have the ability to not only help your ID talent get exposed and seen, but then you're also helping those indie promotions. And that's a big win for everybody. WWE benefits, the indie scene benefits, and obviously those independent talent benefit, because those who are signed to WWE ID can freely take bookings elsewhere. They are not screwed by WWE in that regard. If they want to go work somewhere else, they can. And obviously that's a really big deal. And for WWE ID, a lot of people have been wondering, does this work long term? We don't know. Like, we're still in the infancy stages, in my opinion. But when you do stuff like this, I do think it allows for a little bit more confidence. So therefore, I like it. And that brings us to our final topic. Is this WWE debut canceled? We're talking about Lance Anoa'i. Listen, this is a very interesting situation. And as you guys know, I've been saying it for a long time. You can't really listen to Dave Meltzer when it comes to reporting. But this is something that I feel like it's not even so much the report itself that's important to talk about. It is kind of questionable as to know why Hikuleo hasn't debuted yet, why Lance Anoa'i has not debuted yet. And Dave was talking about this, and he reported that Lance is in the system with WWE. He's within WWE. We all know that he got injured last year. Basically, Dave says it's going to continue to keep him sidelined well into 2025. And Hikuleo is not injured or anything like that. Hikuleo is, in fact, completely clear. He's at the Performance Center training. They just haven't done anything with him. And obviously now this goes to, okay, well, whose debut is canceled? What's going on? Well, in the same notice, right, Dave Meltzer is talking about Lance, and he says that he's there, but there has been criticism of him and that he basically may not make it within WWE. He says he's heard nothing negative about Hikuleo. But one of the things that's like obviously really crazy about this is a lot of people believe that Lance Anoa'i is not even going to be part of NXT. If anything, he's part of WWE Evolve. So this is a really strange situation. Obviously, we've been very, very confused as to what's going on with these guys. It doesn't sound like there's an issue with Hikuleo. Okay, that's great. But let's just say Dave is correct. Let's just say these reports are correct about Lance and he's getting criticism, and WWE has basically, hey, we're just going to put you on Evolve. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a good thing, because this guy came in with this, there was this mentality with WWE, that they were going to bring him into NXT and Hikuleo, and they were going to kind of have like a parallel storyline because of the bloodline stuff. I don't know. It's a very strange situation, guys. And to be honest with you, if it doesn't work out for Lance, I'll be quite shocked. Obviously, with Dave, you got to be very, very careful with what he reports and take it with a grain of salt, but it is important to at least acknowledge.